this, sir. I'm Niño Denver Casia, your BSc freshman student of Leyte Normal University, San Isidro campus, under Entrepreneurial Behavioral Management subject. Here is my video recitation presentation. Hope you like it. Question number 1. How does an entrepreneur work to the businessman? An entrepreneur is a person who has a unique concept for starting and running a new business and making a difference in the world. A businessman is a person who is involved in any activity that is linked to commercial or industrial purposes. The entrepreneur involves into a businessman in the future. Different behavior or attitudes of an entrepreneur. Passion. It is given that in everything we do, we must be passionate about it. If we love what we are doing, even though we feel exhausted with so much workload, it is still so satisfying. Bravery. Entrepreneurs are only human. They feel fear just like everyone else. Fear of failure and fear that their creation or idea will not be enforced. Flexibility. As an entrepreneur, you must be flexible in life. Failure is inevitable. It is necessary to be flexible to handle such difficulties and the downfall of our business. Strong work ethic. Starting a business from the bottom and becoming a successful business owner is not simple. A new enterprise requires many hours of hard effort, frustration, innovation, and monitoring. Integrity. As an entrepreneur, you must be able to showcase honesty and integrity to others. Colleagues, vendors, consumers, and investors must have faith in you, regardless the sort of business they want to start. Next, what factors affects the culture of organization? Number 1. How an organization looks at gender issues determines how male and female employees relate at work. If the leadership views both an equal culture of teamwork will be entrenched because everyone's input is taken in. Number 2. Region. The country of area where an organization operates from also determines its values, beliefs, and attitude. The environment you operate in does affect company culture as you might have to align your values and behavior to theirs. Number 3. Organization strategy. To fully achieve its strategic goals and plans, the company culture must support the business plan. Number 4. Industry. The industry you're in very much determines what culture an organization takes. In the financial industry, a cautious and safety culture will be the norm due to many financial guidelines an organization is supposed to adhere to. Number 5. Leadership. The behavior and character of the top management go a long way in determining an organization's culture. Employees are likely to behave as they see their leader are acting. Number 6. Employees. What kind of individuals you hire will affect the corporate culture. An employee's attitude, behavior can influence others, leading to a bad company culture. So be careful who you hire. Next, how organizations live longer. The organization can live longer when an organization strives to achieve their objectives. They may live far beyond the tenure and even the life of their individual members, unless they are severely mismanaged or are forced to close. Organizations have their own life cycle, with different phases that we can call launch, growth, maturity, and pause. Next, we can say that the organization is a powerful tool for human being. Whether this tool is applied for the accomplishment of tasks, or for problem solving, or for whatever purposes, it is satisfying some human need. It is possible to organize the required human effort in many ways. Next, why divisional structures are very important for organization? Because the divisional or departmental organization involves the groupings of people or activities with similar characteristics into a single department or unit. Next, different roles and functions of line and staffing of organization. In this type of organization, the functional specialists are added to the line, thus giving the line the advantages of a specialist. This type of organization is most common in our business economy, and especially among large enterprises. Staff is basically advisory in nature and usually does not possess commonly authority over the manager. The staff consists of two types. First, general staff. This group has a general background that is usually like executives and serve as assistant to top management. They are not specialists and generally have no authority or responsibility of their own. They may be known as specialist assistant, assistant manager, or in a college setting as deputy chairperson. Second, specialized staff. Unlike the general staff who generally assess only one line executive, the specialized staff provides expert staff, advice, and serve to all employees on a company-wide basis. This group has a specialized background in some functional areas, and it could serve in any of the following capacities. Next, specialized capacities, there are 3 capacities. First, the advisory capacities. The primary purposes of this group is to render specialized advice and assistance to management when needed. Some typical areas covered by advisory staff are legal, public relations, and economic development. Next, service capacities. This group provides a service that is useful to the organization as a whole, not just in any specific division or function. An example would be the personnel department serving the enterprise by procuring the needed personnel for all departments. Other areas of service includes research and development, purchasing, statistical analysis, insurance problem, and so on. And the last one, control capacity. This group includes quality control staff who may have the authority to control the quality and enforce standards. Next, how the key elements work of organization. So, they have 6 elements. So first, work specialization. So what degree are articles subdivided into separate jobs? Second, departmentalization, on what basis jobs will be grouped. Third, chain of command, to whom will individuals and groups report. And the fourth one, the span of control, up to how many individuals can a manager efficiently direct. And the fifth one, centralization versus decentralization. Who will be the sole maker of decisions? And the last one, formalization. To what degree will there the rules and regulations to direct employees and manager? So next, what are the employees' roles in the organization? So first, promote company culture. Employees have a role to promote good company culture. As a brand ambassador, they have a part to play portraying the positive attitudes of the company they work for. They should know the positive values, behaviors, and practices that ensure a conducive environment to work in and follow them religiously. Next, create and review organization culture. Employees have a role to create the kind of culture they would like to work from. For example, if they want a friendly and open system, everyone has a part to play ensuring that all feels welcome to say what they want and can be helped in case they need help. So next, why committee structural is an important organization. So a committee or a task force is the most important for a formal group appointed by the management to perform certain functions or tasks. Committees and task forces have become more and more necessarily unimportant as the organization grows larger and more complex because of collective information and analysis. Committees are more likely come up with solutions to complex problems. So next, explain the advantages and disadvantages of committee in the organization. So first, the advantages of committees. So number 1, polling of opinions. The member of bringing different backgrounds, values, viewpoints, and abilities. These wide-ranging abilities results in a greater knowledge base. That results in better quality decision. Additional, group deliberation generally ensure a group consideration of problem from all angles and alternative points of view before arriving at a decision. This would not be possible if the same problem was locked at the single executive. So number 2, improve cooperation. The member of the committee usually get to know each other well and thus see each other's point of view with respect. So they are willing to cooperate and coordinate, especially when they become aware of their role and how decisions are going to affect the entire organization.
Number 3, motivation. From a human standpoint, the biggest advantage of committees may be the increased motivation and commitment derived from participation in the committee, deliberation, and indirectly in important organization affairs. Also, when the committee consists of managers and subordinates, it gives the subordinates some degrees of recognition and importance.
So, number 4, representation. Since the committee members may have different interests and opinions that may be opposed to each other, the process of committee deliberations give a critical viewpoint and balanced outcome of these different representations. However, even though a committee should be highly representative of all interests, the capacity of the member should take precedence over presentation. Number 5, dispersion of power. While autocratic authority makes decision making and implementation faster and easier, it may lead to misuse of power and wrong decisions. However, by spreading authority and responsibility for all committee members, this problem can be eliminated. So, number 6, executive training. The committees provide an excellent training grounds for young executives. They also provide opportunities for person development that involves that individuals may not be able to get on their own. In the committees, they learn the value of interaction, human relations, and group dynamics. They get exposed to various viewpoints and think in a liberal manner and get to understand how collective decisions are made. Number 7, continuity. Most committees do not replace all their members at some times, so that some new members join to replace some old members, while the other members remain. Thus, the continuity of operations is maintained. The US Senate works on this basis that every 2 years there is an election for 1/3 of the total Senate.
Number 8, communication. A community can be an excellent forum for management and workers to have simultaneous communication and discuss matters of common interest in an atmosphere of goodwill and understand and each some mutually benefiting conclusions.
Number 9, better chances of recommendations to be accepted. So, a committee recommendation is much more likely to be accepted than an individual recommendation. So, next is the disadvantages of committees. So, first, time and cost. So, the very structure of the committee is a costly affair in terms of money and time. The nature of a committee is such that everyone has an equal chance to speak out and take part in discussions, and this can be very time consuming. Number 2, compromise. And usually, there is a tendency to present unanimous decision and hence a majority viewpoint is taken as representative even when the majority viewpoint is valid. So, this may result in premature agreements and decisions and mediocre quality. So, the minority may be unwilling to pursue their viewpoints for fear that they will stand out and may be labeled as uncooperative. Number 3, personal prejudice. Sometimes winning arguments or getting back at somebody for personal reasons may give the problem a secondary priority. So, thus diluting the strength of the decision. So, number 4, loud ruling. So, this term is coined for willing and dealing with political interests and purposes. So, these political pressures may come from the top management that wants a particular point of view to dominate in the committee discussions. Number 5, the train on interpersonal relations. So, in committee meetings, there is a tendency that everyone wants to please everybody else. Otherwise, any displeasure within the committee can strain working relations outside the committee too.
6. Lack of effectiveness. Certain issues are better solved by individuals rather than committees. The committees are very useful in handling grievances and interdepartmental problems, but they are not effective in formulating such policies where individual initiative and creative and involved. An organizational structure defines how jobs and how are formally divided, grouped, and coordinated.
The last question is, design and layout sample of an organizational structure of a certain company. So as you can see in the chart, that is called functional organization. So in the upper one is head of IT, David Selner. So the role of David Selner is the senior manager for information technology or IT within an organization. So the below of David Selner is security engineer manager Ben Gracia. So the role of Ben Gracia is their primary job to implement and monitor computer and network security protocols to protect sensitive information from hacks or thief. So below in Ben Gracia, there are two security engineers. First, Brigida Wide, and second, Percy Biltman. So the roles of these security engineers is someone who analyzes computer networks, ensure they are running securely, and tries to force possible security issues that could arise in the future. So next is network engineer, Birgitta Rossoni. So the role of Birgitta Rossoni is contract and manage networks to ensure they're optimized and functioning as intended. And the next one is senior cloud architect, Kindra Scrummage. So the role of Kindra Scrummage is responsible for leading the creation of a technology framework and providing technical leadership in support of HUIT's initiatives in cloud computing and automation. So below of Kindra Scrummage, cloud architect, Berkeley Isherwood. So the role of Berkeley Isherwood is responsible for overseeing a company's cloud computing strategy. Next is help desk manager, Mickey Nilans. So the role of Mickey Nilans is supervise technical support teams, track performance, and ensure that customer service standards are maintained. The below of Mickey Nilans, there are two IT help desk technicians. First, Debile Them, and second, Mateo Gablox. So the role of these two IT help desk technicians is helps customers or users troubleshoot software and hardware problems. So that's the example of functional organization. That's all, and thank you.